Dan Vladar is earning another start tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Does this mean we are going to see a change in the tandem strategy?
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we're going to be talking about the shift in goaltending performances for Dan Vladar and Dustin Wolf, as well as checking in with the prospects with the Wranglers and keeping an eye on what's been hot here with the Calgary Flames. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day, and let's dive right into it. Today, it was announced that Dan Vladar is earning his 5th start in 6 games, which has some people concerned, talking that there's a dialogue. So far it's been pretty fair splits, even wise. Like it's been every other, or it'll be 3 and 3. Like however it works out, like it's a very even playing field in terms of workload. And it feels like these are normal struggles, right? Obviously, we have Dustin Wolf, who has really, this is his first full season as an NHL starter. And we knew that this was going to be a tall task, especially with the team that was in front of him. Defense for the Flames has been a little tough, especially on the penalty kill. And what have the Flames done a lot of this season? Been on the penalty kill. So it's tough there, obviously. And then you have Dan Vladar coming back from hip surgery that he had in March. And, you don't just bounce back when after you have surgery. There's just because you are cleared to play, I feel like I say this every time we talk about injuries, but just because you're cleared to play does not mean you are 100% healed. And it's easier, to re-injure things that are already injured. So, I mean, there are so many different variables that go into what constitutes as success for the Calgary Flames goaltending tandem. And I think right now we are kind of relying on Dan Vladar. And I think also, everyone knew going into this season that it was not going to be like a bona fide, defined starter. Like Jacob Markstrom was your starter. That he was not a backup goaltender. He was not doing any sort of tandem work. He was the one carrying the most of the workload. And that made sense. But Dan Vladar still has not played 100 NHL games yet. Tonight will be his 91st. And that this is just part of the transition period for the Flames. And this was kind of circled on our concerns list, but I don't think anyone kind of expected Dustin Wolf to struggle in a way that was consistent, or that would extend over a period of time. And everyone has bad games, right? But when you have a resume like Dustin Wolf, who has pretty much seen immediate success in every developmental level he's played in, last season, he obviously got off to a tough start when he was playing with the Flames. He was getting shelled night after night after night. And then, he had time to settle in, like a little trial period. And then now, up until this last 7-8 games, he has been playing well. Like he looked settled in. He looked, we were having these Calder Trophy conversations, and that seems like a thing of the distant past right now. But he was so good, um, and was exceeding those expectations that it was easy to forget that this is his first full season in the NHL and as a a goalie that is expected to start 41 games. So I think it's a little bit of, I don't want to say culture shock, because that's not, kind of takes people by surprise when all of a sudden, like, your star goalie prospect kind of starts trending downward, and it's like, oh, we don't really have like a backup plan. Um, Devin Cooley, who we're going to talk about a little bit later, is doing great with the Wranglers, but you're not doing all of these things. But could he just be tired? We have seen this time and time again, with especially with young rookies, where this is the time of year they start to hit a wall. Dustin Wolf did not play college hockey. We typically see it with the college hockey guys. But, this is his first NHL season. This is his first rigorous workload in the NHL. So I don't really think there's cause for concern, or to start, oh, Dustin Wolf is too small. No, we don't need to have these conversations every 6 months. But I do think this is just a matter of taking the lumps for both goaltenders and working through them, because if there is one thing that happens for the Flames, it will not be an easy process. It is not going to be a seamless and smooth process. And right now, Dan Vladar they're both fine goaltenders. Like, I don't think you should write off either one of them, but having to heavily rely on Vladar right now may come back to bite them in the butt if if Vladar can't keep up with the workload. So it's just going to be kind of like passing back and forth, back and forth. So is this an opportunity for some change? Who knows? But coming up next, we are going to take a trip down to the AHL to check in on our baby Flames, the Calgary Wranglers. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine gets better and is consistently learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube, where you're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day. The Calgary Wranglers are doing fantastic. I think we should switch the Wranglers and the Flames. The Wranglers they just scored 6 goals against the Manitoba Moose last night. And I imagine if the Flames, we went how many games without the Flames scoring 4 goals? Imagine 6 goals. 6! And you still win by a wide margin. It was 6-2. So right now, the Wranglers are sitting atop of the Pacific Division with 19 wins, 5 losses, and 1 overtime loss. That's incredible. I'm not going to lie. The Wranglers first loss of the season was the game I was at in October. It was the home opener. And then after that, they didn't lose a single game for the month of October. So just something to think about. But no, in all seriousness, the Wranglers are doing well. I know that there is a lot of criticism when it comes to the Flames draft picks, their drafting history, their prospects and the ceilings, and the need for high-end talent, which I understand completely, because that is what you need to win the Stanley Cup. But Rory Kerins has just absolutely dominated this season. He has pretty much been a point per game player and he's leading the league in scoring right now. 25 games played, 17 goals. Just unreal. The fact that we have not seen him up with the Flames yet is perplexing. It is confusing to me. Not because I think that anyone else is less deserving than the others, but because we have not seen Rory Kerins play with the Flames. He hasn't made his NHL debut, and he is hungry. He came into this season wanting it bad, and he has just night after night consistently shown his determination and talent and abilities. And of course, the AHL and NHL are different. But the fact that he is having such great success at the AHL level shows you that there is room for him to grow within your organization. And maybe you don't need to go out and spend a little bit more money on a free agent come July 1st. There's plenty of organizational depth. I mean, yes, of course you want it to be better than what it is, but right now this is what you're working with. And we know this team is going to have to be acquiring their talent from the draft. Free agents aren't signing in Calgary right now. That's a lie. I shouldn't say that. No big name free agent is going to be signing in Calgary long term, mainly because the Flames aren't looking to do any of that right now. But what is so exciting about the future of this organization is that it is unknown. It can turn into anything. And the names that we're hearing now, in 5 years, think of like Matt Coronado, Connor Zary, Martin Pospisil, like Dustin Wolf. I don't know if Jacob Pelletier will be there, but like Huberdeau's contract, it's like the final season of that, and you're just like, let's go, this team is finally gonna win, or they're gonna do something. There's things to look forward to. And I talked about this on an episode earlier this week, as well as in my weekly recap for Offside News. But just because the team isn't going to see that typical playoff success that you want to see in a season does not mean that you cannot root for smaller things within the season. Like we talk about these kids, right, making the jump from the AHL to the NHL, or seeing how their development is progressing since they were acquired one way or another. And these are things to be excited about because it shows forward motion and good signs. And that's what the Flames need. They need all the good that they can get right now. And last night, yes, Hunter Brustowicz scored his first AHL goal. That is so exciting. He has been an excellent contributor as of late. He has like five points, I think, in his last five or six games, which, I mean, we knew he was an offensive defenseman, but I mean, it's great to see. I think that he is obviously one of the pieces that came over in the Elias Lindholm trade. But I do hope that he is a piece that gets to stick around the organization for a while, as long as things trend in a positive direction that fits what the Flames are looking at. Because things might be tough. We know that the Flames are kind of in the thick of it right now. They're crawling their way out, whichever way you look at it. But there are a lot of young players that deserve a chance in the NHL. And I think the Flames should start looking at that and definitely keeping an eye on player like Rory Kerins. I don't know why I can't say his name. One of the easiest names ever. I love the name Rory. But and just like Brustowicz has been a Flame for a year. Really not even. He was traded to the Flames a year ago, but he obviously he played in the OHL last year and a few AHL Wrangler playoff games, I believe. So he's getting there, taking the steps. So to round out our trip down to the farm, let's talk about Devin Cooley. Devin Cooley was a free agent signing this summer and a depth goaltender, right? You were moving Dustin Wolf up to the AHL, or sorry, from the AHL to the NHL, and you needed someone to move in and take his job. Yeah, that was Devin Cooley, and he has showed no signs of cooling down. 942 save percentage with a 1.30 goals against average, and it is so easy to root for him. And he's a quote machine. Do not get me wrong. He is a quote machine, but he has looked so good and comfortable in Calgary. And I think what matters most to me as someone who watches with an analytical eye as well is the progress of every goaltender that comes through the Flame system. They have fantastic goalie coaches, and you can see the change. And even Cooley has mentioned it, how great the goalie coaching staff is in Calgary. And that is so good to hear. And you need more of that. You really want to make sure that your staff is packed with the most brilliant minds that are willing to teach and help people learn. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with a little chatter of what is coming down the pipeline and why is Jacob Pelletier scratched tonight after being sent down for a paper transaction and then recalled, and then he's sitting up having popcorn already. We'll be right back after this. Prize Picks is the place to get in on all of the action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Pickmas. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 off of your to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed and following me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Just Belmosto. So yesterday, Jacob Pelletier and Walker Duehr were reassigned to the Wranglers, and this was strictly a paper transaction. This was not anything indicative of their play or the plan moving forward or anything like that. These are things that happen constantly. It puts a pause on the clock, which means it paused the 30-day time period that they could be on an NHL roster, which makes sense considering it was an off day and they were back home. It's not like they were on the road and it was an off day. So with that being said, where is Jacob Pelletier tonight? Walker Duehr slots back in, which is great. But is there a reason why you recalled Peltz if just to sit him? My first thought after looking for his name in Pat Steinberg's lines from practice was, oh my God, Ryan Lomberg. Ryan Lomberg did not travel with the team because his wife is expecting. And I would assume that, this may be a game time decision. You never know when that water is going to break. You do not know. And that's terrifying. But Jacob Pelletier could be a game time decision based on the status of Ryan Lomberg and his wife, I guess. Obviously, he's not going to miss a game for the birth of his child. But no, Jacob Pelletier has been great defensively. It doesn't make sense for him to be out of the lineup for any other reason other than that. I guess like you could scratch Lomberg again, but I don't really know what that does. You need his body out on the ice because he is a big hulking man that isn't afraid to throw his body around and be physical. And you might need that against a team like Tampa Bay. I personally hate playing Tampa Bay. I really do not enjoy Nikita Kucherov because I feel like he does get away with a lot of nasty hits. At least he has in the past. And I understand this team employs Nazem Kadri, who also has a history of bad hits. But people change and grow. I would love to have a Kucherov on this team. I would love someone that can score consistently like that and high-end talent. But, I think the Flames are just the Flames. The one thing that really benefits them is when they have the East Coast teams come to town because they're typically worn out from traveling or they're playing on the second half of a back-to-back. So they kind of luck out there. But where is Jacob Pelletier? Can we please have him back in the lineup? I think I just really like what that fourth line was cooking on the road. I thought that they looked fantastic in Nashville specifically. The game against Dallas that whole game was a disaster. But Nashville's the game in Nashville specifically, I felt was very strong. The fourth line as a whole had a standout stellar performance. And the Flames' fourth line is really good defensively. That is their main contribution. You might not find them on the score sheet as often as you would hope, but they do step up in a lot of big ways. And I think sometimes that can get overlooked because it's not tangible like a goal or, like someone taking a puck to the face. That's tangible defense. It's a little bit harder to kind of quantify it, I guess. But I'm hopeful that we'll see more of Pelletier. I don't think that they're just going to keep him up with the club just to, again, waste time on the, the waiver clock. So we will just have to keep watching and keep an eye out for that here on Locked On Flames. And you already know I will keep you covered. And make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Your Calgary Flames every day. And thank you all so much. Have a fantastic evening and stay warm, stay safe, stay dry, stay cool, stay hydrated. And please remember, most of all, to be kind.